Hi everyone, my name is Taylor. I am here with Loonbase and I am here to talk about the current events and kind of just like the state of our world. As everyone knows, police brutality has become more prevalent. That's just like kind of how it is. My purpose here today is to kind of talk to everyone as a Black woman to like tell everyone kind of how to be, a better ally. I am not speaking for every Black person ever. This is just how I feel. These are all my own opinions, but these are just like what I feel could be helpful tips on being an ally. And my other disclaimer is this is not the end all be all. I'm giving you a short little list. It is your responsibility to take what I'm saying and keep doing work, which kind of segues into my first point because like I said, I do have a list, but my first suggestion is don't rely on other Black people to coddle you, to help you into becoming an ally. Like if this is something that you're serious about, which you all should, it's on you. You have to do the work. We can suggest materials for you, but again, it's like the old saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. So I can give you some materials, but it's up to you to take the time to read, to listen, and just like absorb the material that's given to you, because I am not a teacher. I don't have a PhD. Like it's not up to me or any other Black person, even if they did have a PhD, to give you all the lessons and like hold your hand through it. Like that's just like not what being an ally is about. It's about you taking the time to actually do what you need to do. My next step is, and it's very, very important, do not be complacent. I cannot stress it enough. I'm going to say it again. Do not be complacent. Complacency and silence is violence. There is no reason that you shouldn't say something. Like this is happening too often to be ignored. As a white person, it's very easy for some of y'all to just want to remain comfortable. And this is not a time where you get to remain comfortable. It is time for you to check your privilege and get uncomfortable, because this is what Black people have been dealing with for hundreds of years. There is no intention of stopping unless we all come together and seriously reform the systems that are against Black people here. So you can't just sit around and expect other people to pick up the slack for you, because that's not going to work. And if you say things like, everyone else is saying the same thing that I'm thinking, like why would I just like need to repeat it? Like that's not going to fly. It's good that everyone's on the same page. Everyone needs to be on the same page. Make sure like you yourself are not being complacent, and make sure the people around you are not, because like when you come together in numbers, like we will seriously start to see some change. And for my third point, kind of like going to my second point, is check your privilege. Even if you grew up poor or like you just didn't feel like you had all the opportunities as another white person, you still have white privilege. You cannot argue against it. It is a systemic fact. You as a white person will have more opportunities than a Black person or other people of color. That's just like how it is. That's how it always has been. You will always be seen to be more professional, to be more well-spoken and more alike. I remember times I was always told growing up that I talked white, because that's like what I grew up around, like when I went to private schools, and that is a very harmful rhetoric. To associate being well-spoken with whiteness is very harmful. That ties into your white privilege. Like you are automatically going to be seen as someone who's well-spoken and more professional. And I'm not saying like you can't have struggles. Like that is not what anyone else is saying. Like you are allowed to struggle, but you are not struggling because of your skin color. You will not convince me or anyone else that that is true. So just like make sure you're always checking your privilege, and check your family and friends, your partner, anyone, check their privilege too, because a lot of people are still walking around here acting like they don't have a leg up, when that's just simply not the truth. There is no coddling right now. Again, like you have to be uncomfortable and you have to do the work if serious change is going to happen. So I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry if you're upset by this, because you need to be angry, because what is happening right now is disgusting, and it's been happening. It's going to keep happening if we just, sit around. My next point, again, these kind of like tie into each other. Challenge the racism within your family, within your friend groups, with anyone. Even if you don't know the person, challenge it. Because I understand that a lot of people grew up in racist households, which sucks and it's not fun. But you do not have to remain a product of your environment. You can unlearn the racist rhetoric and racist values that you grew up around. Like, it is okay to stray away from that, cut family off, cut friends off, and change for the better. Like, you don't have to stay that way. So I just think that's also very important, and it goes along with complacency, is do not let your family sit around and be racist because you think, oh, well, you know, I'm better than them, like I don't have those values. Like, okay, that's cool, but make sure that you call out the values that other people are still displaying. Oh, another point I wanted to add to challenging this racist rhetoric. By challenging these ideals, you are keeping like people accountable. So like everyone's always like, well, you shouldn't like chastise this person for saying something racist. You shouldn't have got them fired. But it's like, no, they need to get fired, because by getting racist people fired, you are keeping them out of the medical field, which is very important because Black people in the medical, like who go to like hospitals, are not treated fairly. Like, there are studies that have been done that say that white doctors believe that Black people can handle more pain, therefore they're not being taken care of, which is disgusting. Black mothers are dying during childbirth when they were otherwise healthy because nurses and doctors were not paying attention to them. Yes, get racists fired so they can stay out of hospitals, they can stay out of law enforcement, they can stay out of the justice system, so we're not getting wrongly convicted. Get racists fired. I don't care how sad they are, like they're losing money or whatever. Losing their job is way less crucial than someone losing their life. And then my next point is kind of like so it goes into being inclusive. I have been pretty loud about this, but I feel like now it's the cool thing to elevate Black voices right now. While it's great, it's also, where was this energy always? So I just want to say, like, if your spaces for some reason were not inclusive, get it together and make them inclusive now. Like, do the work to make them inclusive. If you were in the music industry, making your bills inclusive, but don't tokenize bands. Don't tokenize artists, because they can see right through that. We can all see right through it. Be genuine about your attempts to do better. Like, this is what me talking to everyone is for. I want everyone to collectively do better. Just make your spaces more inclusive. If you're working at a company, challenge why there might not be diversity. See what that's about. Like, you might be scared, but like, I'm sure someone else was thinking it too. Just stand up for what is right. So just like make your spaces inclusive. Always keep that energy. Don't just stop now that it's like the cool thing to do. This isn't a trend. I have a good feeling that the audience that this is going to reach doesn't really follow this, but I'm sure some of your family and some of your friends do. If you say all lives matter, stop. Stop that right now. I mean it. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to be cute. I'm not trying to be quirky or funny. Stop saying that. Because obviously all lives matter. Black Lives Matter is not racist. People know what they're saying when they say all lives matter. I feel like most people realize that Black Lives Matter is not saying that all lives don't matter. They just want to start an argument for the sake of being ignorant. But Black Lives Matter is needed because all lives don't matter here. And it's very obvious. So if for some reason anyone watching this does say that, I need you to get that out of your vocabulary right now. Inspire people around you to stop saying that too, because it's very harmful and diminishes the real point of Black Lives Matter. Black lives don't matter and they want to matter, and that's why this movement was created. Don't let all lives matter diminish what we're trying to do here. And another one, which I feel like might be hard for some allies, is challenge your own bias. We all have bias towards certain groups or whatever, like we're all guilty of it, but it is really important that if you were a product of a very racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, etc. environment, that you make sure that you are checking your own bias when it comes to maybe those groups that you were pushed to hate. Part of being an ally is you are going to feel uncomfortable and you are going to feel guilty, but it is on you to kind of push past those feelings and just realize that, hey, I had this really crappy view for a very long time, but you need to work through that on your own time so you can be more productive, because it's not going to help with anyone if you're just constantly apologizing about these views that you had, because really it's not on Black people to coddle you through your allyship. It's on you to like do that. Like I know I keep saying the same points and I'm being kind of repetitive, but it really is so crucial that you do the work that you need to do so like you can be a good ally. For this next point, a lot of people feel like really bad if they can't go to protest or be on the front line. That is okay. We are still in the midst of a pandemic, so it is super okay if you don't feel comfortable going to a protest. Even if we weren't in the midst of a pandemic, you might just like be super anxious about big crowds. You just like, maybe you're immunocompromised since, you know, we're getting tear gassed. So it's not safe for you to be around that, but you don't have to be necessarily on the front lines. You can go to a protest and hand out food or water or resources for people. Just sign all these petitions, retweet, share the accurate information, but share important information. Donate if you can. This one's really obvious, but you know, I'm gonna have to talk about it because I've been seeing a lot of it. So when it comes to Black issues, listen to Black people. I'm gonna say it again. When it comes to Black issues, listen to Black people. Because I've been seeing a lot of white people overstep and kind of speak over Black voices. And I've seen a lot of white people only seem to take these issues seriously when it's coming out of the mouth of someone who looks like them. That won't really help. Like, yes, again, I know I said inspire your family, inspire your friends, but at the end of the day, these are Black issues. And you need to listen to Black voices about what they need, about how to go about everything, because we are the ones that are subjected to this trauma and like this tragedy. Listen to us over anyone else because we know ourselves better than anyone else. So why wouldn't you want to take the time to actually listen to like what we have to say? This movement is not a trend. If you jumped on it I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, but if for some reason you jumped on this because of a trend, that's not okay, but I hope you stay along for the ride. We've been subjected to a lot of tragedy, a lot of trauma, and it's been rough, but we're still out here doing the work and trying our best. I'm thankful that so many people have shown up, but you have to stick around. Like, you cannot just abandon this because hashtags might not be trending. There's a lot of cases still open. There's a lot of cases that were closed and have no chance of seeing the light of day again. You have to like stay with this. You have to like continuously do work and show up, because Black Lives Matter is not a trend. My life is not a trend. I'm not sorry about if I sounded harsh, because it did need to be said. I am thankful that people took the time to listen to this. Again, this is not an end-all be-all. This is just how I've been really feeling, and I still didn't even say everything I need to say. Don't just stick around in times of tragedy. Be here for us while we're still here.